Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Four Train Savages podcast. Today is Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, Tuesday, episode number 241 of the Four Train Savages podcast. My name is Rob. Tyler, as always, is on the other end of the Zoom room. Today, Tyler, we're talking after the Yankees just went ahead and swept the Baltimore Orioles on a four-game home set. Interestingly enough, it went right into Monday. It blasted through. It went Friday to Monday. Not exactly the kind of lineup that they usually have for how the series are played. You'll usually get them on Thursday, and they'll go till Sunday. But the Yankees have been taking care of business. That's a lot of series wins in the past week or so. They've been taking
hmm
care of business. But today, I think it's a little bit of an odd time for Yankee fans, especially with the news coming yesterday early morning that the great John Sterling passed away at the age of 87. So it's a bit of a somber time in Yankee land. We saw last night the Yankees wore the JS on the back of their hats. They had some nice ceremonies. A lot of what my afternoon yesterday was taken up of was listening to Michael Kay, listening to a lot of the
hmm
people calling a WFAN because it's pretty crazy to think. We've heard that he had some serious health issues and some health problems. I think it was a couple months ago. They were talking about how he had to be rushed to the emergency room for some heart problems, and unfortunately, he succumbed to those issues earlier this week. So it's a bit of even though the Yankees have been cruising and there's a lot for us to talk about, it's a bit of a somber time. It's not so as we would be so as excited because at least for me, and I know we're on the same page. We're both going on 28, 27 years old, and like just straight up, he had been the voice of Yankees baseball. Like he's the soundtrack to what we
hmm
knew as Yankee fans, and I think that's always going to stick with me. So, what was your reaction to that? I know you spend a lot more time on the road necessarily, and you're listening to a lot of the games. But we do more than just do this podcast, and we have other stuff we're doing throughout the summer. And he was the voice of a lot of summers for Yankee fans,
Yeah.
and we're not the only ones. So it was very disappointing to hear, very sad news. But I think it was very cool that the way Yankee fans and everyone sort of shown him just like a celebration of life. It was very cool to see that side of things. So
Yeah, man. Very sad day in Yankee land. Obviously, condolences to the family and
mhm.
the four kids, I believe, triplets, and then one
Yeah,
more. Um, I kind of enjoyed listening to, I listen to ESPN New York, like the radio all the time because I'm walking around with dogs and stuff. And it was cool getting to hear like Susan, like some stories from Susan, some stories from Michael. It was nice to just kind of, hear that stuff because at the end of the day, dude. Like Michael K has been in my living room since I can remember.
hmm
John Sterling been in my car since I can remember. And then when he wasn't by my car, as like, when I was little, he was by my bed when I wasn't allowed to have the game on, but I could
yeah.
finish listening to it, when I was like 10, 11, 12, whatever it was. So yeah, it just it, you know, it's a weird feeling, but um, like I said, I think kind of cool hearing all the stories. A little bit of you hope to make it a celebration of life, but yeah, it's like a little piece of selfishly of your childhood and your Yankee upbringing and the whole
hmm
thing. So it was like anyone that's 30 or younger, or even like what 50 or younger, has
hmm
like some sort of a massive you know,
Connection.
association with
hmm
with John Sterling and liking the Yankees. So it's if you're a Yankee fan in this like century of baseball,
hmm
virtually, it's like yeah, you knew John Sterling, you grew up with him at some point.
Yeah.
So very, you know, I don't want to say very cool because it's not cool, but it was a very emotional day for a lot of Yankee fans
It was
yesterday.
a bright spot and it was a bright spot to see everyone just pour out and say the level of appreciation that they did have for him.
Yep. The
And
Mets cast was cool. Like some of
yeah,
the little tributes around the league were very cool.
yeah, the Mets fans did a really nice or Mets organization and SNY, and we know him as a Yankee broadcaster, but even going back,
hmm
he was broadcasting. I believe it was the Islanders, the Braves. He was early on, like when our parents were start of that time of watching baseball, because I think it was TBS and like the Turner Group had that pool of Braves games that were nationally broadcasted, I believe. Like John Sterling was the voice of that. And then he
Hmm.
ended up, as Kay said, he got his dream job because he's from the New York area. He got that dream job to be a Yankee broadcaster and get the job calling the games. And you don't and just not even in the pantheons of Yankee land, but just how much of a legendary broadcaster he was, and not even too. I think to outsiders, and it was nice to see an outpouring of just baseball fans giving him appreciation. But even if you're, let's just say, even for some fans, and you would hear even for a few Yankee fans that he wasn't exactly their cup of tea, especially when he would mess up some calls, especially later on. I think, what stands out is maybe the 2021 wild card game and instances, but he would
Yeah,
embrace
you're
that.
yelling at it like an 80-year-old man
He
at that
he
point,
he
you
would
know.
yeah, but he would embrace it and he would just keep going. That he wouldn't care.
Hmm.
And that's and honestly too, he seemed like a lovely human being from what Susan Waldman said. He wouldn't understand any level of criticism that would come his way because he just wanted to be nice to people, and quite frankly, we need more of those people in the world than not. So it was a nice celebration of life, I think, and I think throughout the rest of the year we're going to see that. He's not at this point. I think the in the Baseball Hall of Fame pantheons, and we have our issues with the Baseball Hall of Fame just as a whole, and it's kind of crazy that he's not maybe recognized. I think the way that he would be recognized, that people were saying the Ford Frick Award for broadcasting, I believe it is. So I want to say, and I was at the game where he was honored, and they actually gave him that television, and people don't know that not even the joke behind it was that he wanted to like finally watch games, and that was sort of the lighthearted thing that the Yankees did. Like the way that they were recognizing him, I don't think was from a television. It looked somewhat bad for people that didn't have the context behind it. But I think that this year, we saw him put the JS on the hat. I think we'll probably see there's going to be a plaque somewhere. It's got to be in Monument Park at some point, and I'm hoping to see, just the community of baseball do something for him in the Hall of Fame and everything because special guy, special broadcaster, and like you said, like going to sleep to Yankee games, hearing John Sterling, the voice that he had was just it was unbelievable, and it's awesome to see that Yankee fans were really so. And how many people were touched? Like I heard like talk show radio. There were people calling up to Kay that were just like sobbing, just how much
Yeah,
they loved
right.
him, and that shows you that you lived a really one heck of a life. So that's
You
what
lived a
Sterling did.
full life. Yep.
Yeah. We'll see. I think I wanted to read some of the stuff that Judge and everyone had because I know Kay, like Jeter posted on his Instagram about it.
Jeter posted. I liked Boone's comments too, where he was like, after every win, I go, "Ball game over, Yankees
He's
win."
win.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's pretty cool. I did
So
not know that.
so yesterday after the win, Judge said we weren't losing today, especially anytime you lose a Yankees legend like John Sterling. That was after the game, and then before the game, he said, tough day in New York hearing this news. Thank you, John, for everything you gave baseball and Yankee fans around the world. The stories you told over the years and the moments you called will live on forever. And then Jeter said, and I'll read Jeter's and then Bernie, who we know is that's the first call, man. Burn, baby, burn. That's the first one.
Hmm.
And Jeter said John Sterling is such a part of is as much of a part of the fabric of the New York Yankees organization as any player. It was an honor to have him call every one of my games during my career. An absolute pleasure to get to know him on a personal basis. My thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. He will be deeply missed. And that was another crazy stat just to show you how the longevity of John Sterling was that he called every one of Derek Jeter's games,
That's
every one of his
nuts.
at bats, and every one of those closing games by Mariano Rivera. And if that doesn't even tell, like that tells you the longevity of John Sterling and just how connected he was with those players, and then how connected he was with the fan base. That is a crazy stat. Crazy stat.
And the 5,000 consecutive games or whatever. Like what?
Unbelievable. And then lastly, Bernie said, I am deeply saddened this morning to hear of the passing of Mr. John Sterling. John was the soundtrack of my entire career with the Yankees, all those championships and all those amazing moments. He called them. I was truly proud to be the first of his many famous home run calls. Bernie goes boom, burn baby burn. My thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, colleagues, and fans. What a legacy he left. And that's the thing, man. He left an amazing legacy. And like the biggest takeaway for me was that our generation of Yankee fans, and it was even a few generations after and many generations before, is John Sterling over his over 30 years touched a lot of Yankee fans, and he's the soundtrack of a lot of their best moments and even some of the lesser moments. But you take the good and the bad, and that's the I think the greatness of John Sterling. So he will be missing out. We'll see what they do for the rest of the with the rest of the season. I hope they honor him in a cool way. And I think Tyler, this is a good
They should
transition.
rock the JNS at the
Uh,
on the hat the rest
well,
of the year.
I was thinking even the hat, but I think it was 96 season may have been when Mickey Mantle passed away. They did like the
Yeah, do
armband
a
and
patch or something. Yeah.
armband. Yeah, they should definitely do something because I mean, as Jeter said, he was as much a part of the legacy of the Yankees as the players. Like we know the
Mm-hmm.
players are out there doing their thing, but to think about just to bring those moments to life even more so than just the play themselves, like that is the legacy of Sterling, and he was that important. So John, and I think Kay said it on the broadcast, he'd want everyone to focus on, or want everyone to talk about the games a little bit. So we'll hop into that. If you guys are new to the channel, new to the podcast, make sure you subscribe, leave us a rate and review, leave us a comment below on everything of what you're thinking of the Yankees, maybe some of your favorite John Sterling moments and everything like that. So Yankees with a sweep, Tyler.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
They did a lot of winning in
How fitting.
this weekend. So game number one was on Friday against the Orioles. Will Warren six and
That
a
feels
third.
like so long ago.
I know, six and a third. Well, that's what happens when you cross over into the
It's so
Monday game.
weird. Yeah, very weird.
Six and a third, 3 hits, one earned run, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. In this one, the story was a couple of home runs from Ben Rice and Jose Caballero. Also getting across the board, we saw Judge get across a run. We saw Rosario single in a run. We also saw Bellinger start off the game with a double. Also, when it comes to the bullpen, a clean outing for all of Jake Bird, Camilo Doval, Fernando Cruz. So Will Warren, again, for the year now, Tyler, has a 4-0 record and a 2.39 ERA. And most of the time, we're occupying our conversations around the starting pitching staff when it comes to Cam Schlittler, Max Fried. We're thinking about Garrett Cole coming back. We're thinking about Carlos Rodon coming back. But
Will Warren ain't going anywhere, bro.
Will Warren is looking like he wants to take that final starting spot. Take the final starting spot at least when we get down to it.
Yep.
But we know we'll need a lot of these starters to just continue pitching. Will Warren's been amazing though.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure he's gonna. I mean, because we're pretty much on the brink of Rodon's probably got like, I think the rumors like one or two more, or 1 or 2 rehab assignments, and then Cole maybe 3 or 4 more. Based off what Jack Curry's saying, sounds like Weather's going to the pen.
Yeah.
Because Jack Curry is like, it will not be Will Warren. It's like, okay, love that. But yeah, dude, Will Warren on the year, 2.39 ERA. Really just ridiculous, honestly. Will Warren's kind of been an afterthought, almost for like 2 years now. It kind of feels like not an afterthought, but it was just like something pleasant to have. And to pitch to this degree in this game, 6 and a third, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 9 Ks out of Will Warren, Rob. That's something. I'm all in on Will Warren.
The Yankees are too. Yeah, it's pretty impressive just how under the radar he's been, and he is giving the Yankees team some exceptional pitching, and that's exactly what he did today. I believe he actually pitches tonight against Texas. Or no, I think he would pitch tomorrow. I got to see who they have lined up. Game number 2, I was in attendance for. Ryan Weathers on the mound, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. In this one, Bellinger gets it started in the bottom of the second with a home run. Third inning, Caballero scoring on a pass ball from Adley Rutschman. This was the Bellinger game. He had then another RBI double in the bottom of the third. Trent Grisham had a home run, then Belly another home run. Pete Alonso in his quote-unquote return to New York, although it's in Yankee Stadium, had a home run. And then the Yankees just held on very nicely, even though in the top of the sixth, they got in a little trouble where it got cut to 6-3. And then in the top of the seventh, it also got cut to 6-4. Not the Ryan Weathers, a solid outing for him. Camille Duvall, though, not a good little
Stinks.
outing for him. Yeah.
Stinks.
Paul Blackburn has an okay little time here in this game. Also, Tim Hills has just been nails.
An
Another,
okay little time.
yeah, no, an okay little time. But the Yankees held on, even though Camille Duvall bent. They didn't break, and they held on to this one. This was an entertaining game. I was in attendance. It was a nice day, very pleasant. So right now we're in the like the pleasant time of May into June. Then it's going to start
Before it
getting a
gets
lot,
hot.
and then it's going to get really hot. But another good outing from Ryan Weathers. And here's the thing, like Ryan Weathers, you mentioned it that Jack Curry thinks he's going to go to the pen or has been. He's been hinting at that. Ryan Weathers and any other pitching staff would probably be, I don't know, third, fourth.
Three? Yeah.
So, but it's just that the Yankees have so much talent in this pitching staff that, and
I also would love to see him in the pen.
they have so much talent in this pitching staff, and then the bullpen is in a very questionable position that it just so happens that it makes the most sense, and it's the route that it seems at this point are that they're going to head in, depending on obviously injuries or anything else that goes on. So, but if he pitches like this, he'd be in a. I mean, he continued to be in like an all-star consideration, to be honest. So
3 ERA on the year, dude. He's pitching very well. I mean, you hope everyone's just healthy throughout the year, and you have to keep making tough decisions like that, you know. But if Weathers can be a higher leverage guy, feels like the stuff plays there more than Will Warren.
Oh yeah,
in the pen.
yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah, another solid outing for Weathers, dude.
And then on game 3 was on Sunday. The Yankees win this one 11-3. Unfortunately, this was the game that Ben Rice had got a bruise in his left hand. He did hit a home run, or yeah, in his thumb. He did exit the game, but he led off in the bottom of the first with a home run. Aaron Judge then in the bottom of the third also with a home run. And then a lot of good offense. This was a really solid game for Jason Dominguez. So Jason Dominguez, Tyler, making some noise. Although last night
Trent played well too, dude.
Trent played well last night. So that was a funny dynamic. How Jason's starting to play really well, and then Trent's like, nope. So then
Hold my beer.
hold my beer, exactly. So in this one, it was Max Fried goes 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. So not a great one of the greater outings for Max Fried, but he still gets the win. Or actually, excuse me, Fernando Cruz got the win in this one. But the Yankees, at the end of the day, get the win. Max Fried for the year now has a 2.39 ERA, 4-1, 43 strikeouts. So Max Fried, you're gonna have those. You're gonna have these games that and
Kept it together too.
And to be honest, yeah, you kept it together, and at the end of the day, if the Yankees are able to scratch across a W, gives a you know what. So we're gonna find out. I think what's the deal with Ben Rice? Yesterday, Paul Goldschmidt started, and then he came in game 3. So hoping for good news on Ben Rice because we don't want him to slow down. I would guess he's fine, but we'll figure that out today.
I think they said it's just a contusion or whatever. That's what I thought.
And then last night's game was who was it? Cam Schlittler on the mound. He struggled a little bit as well in this one, but was able to
struggled, but still had a good line.
Yeah,
too.
still had a good line. He actually secured the win. 5 2/3, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. So he is able to get the win. And then this was a big day, I think, too, Tyler, for Jake Bird, who, when Cam Schlittler got in that trouble last night, he shut the door and he had a little bit of a fired up moment. And then the rest of the bullpen for the night throws up a scoreless outing. And then this was a big offensive output. You had the Judge homer. Ryan McMahon is hitting pretty well of late. Jose Caballero with a double. And we'll talk about the shortstop situation because we have some interesting stuff to talk about with Anthony Volpe, and then Cody Bellinger with a triple to score in both Grisham and Judge, and then Jason Dominguez too has been hitting pretty well. So I think
feels like we just kill Shane Baz, honestly.
Yeah, Fair warning, there will be no Savage Slump Watch because if you're having this kind of series, there's no one to
Yeah.
really be too down on, and we don't want to be doing that at all. But I mean, this was a domination of the Orioles. I thought the Orioles would be a little better, to be honest. It's still early. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still May, but I mean, the Yankees went out, beat your divisional opponent. I don't care. Keep that going, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Orioles don't look great, if I'm being honest. Like, they can't really pitch. It feels like they should hit, and they kind of do hit, but then they don't. So I'm like, I don't know. They have like good players, but it doesn't feel like it's totally come together. And then I don't know, like, is Gunnar Henderson ever gonna be like the MVP that he's kind of been
Yeah. I will
you
say
know
this. You know how the
told to
Red
be?
Sox, and the Jays eventually make that summer run? I
Yeah,
wouldn't shock me if the Orioles are
I
sort
think
of
the Red
take
Sox are beat.
that place where and it's funny that the Rays are keeping pace with the Yankees right now, so
Yeah.
they're lesser talked about. They're only a game and a half back, so the Rays are actually looking like a pretty quality team. And we always say, what the hell? Why do the Rays always end up doing this? But I wouldn't be shocked. I think the Red Sox are the worst team in the division. But I could see a world where the Orioles are maybe have a summer run. But you're not wrong. The offense, like Gunnar Henderson, hasn't lived up to what people initially thought he would be. Adley Rushman hasn't done that. I think
Hmm.
Pete Alonso will still finish off and have a
Pete's
good
gonna Pete.
Yeah, Pete's gonna have a good tenure with the Orioles. So that's
Taylor
that's
Ward's been
that's my
good.
that's my
I
impression of him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, anything can happen because teams are, a team will inevitably go on a run that we kind of don't expect to from the division.
Hmm.
I just don't see the pitching at all.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
they don't have any starting pitching. Um, I mean, maybe Boz, like their whole team's got like a 5 ERA virtually, but you know
You
that's what
play to
kind of
find
Orioles.
out.
Yeah, that's what Orioles fans were yelling about all offseason, though. So, yeah, I don't know. I was happy the Yankees beat the not out of the Orioles. Orioles didn't seem great. I'm gonna be honest, Rob. American League not very good in the first 5 weeks of the year.
No.
So it's not like they're just playing who's on their schedule. I think Texas kind of feels like the closest bad good team that they've beaten. And then they got, you know, if you want to be a little negative on this, you could say the Yankees played one good team and they got swept in the Trop by them. But I'm not gonna be that pessimistic today because we're beating who's on the schedule. But the Yankees look really good, Rob. Starting pitching has obviously been unbelievable, but also the Orioles stink. So that's where I'm at.
I'll take a sweep. You play who's
Yeah,
on your
I'm taking
schedule.
a sweep. I'm taking a sweep. They look good though. They look like way better than. They look really good, Rob. That's kind of what I could say.
Yankees right now are 24-11.
It's
The
good.
central leading teams are the Tigers and Cleveland Guardians, tied at 18 and 18.
Second best run
And
differential
then
in the league,
and
too.
then those Vegas Athletics are
I'm
18 and
telling you, Rob,
16.
I'm in on
I
the A's.
I can see it. I see the vision. They line up as good. So all right, before we talk about the other topics, including the Volpe stuff, which I think is the elephant in the room, I suppose, let's talk about our Savages of the series. And as I said, we're not going to do our Savage Slump Watch because who wants to do that after a series sweep?
Not me.
Not me. I'm going to go with Cody Bellinger, man. Cody
Cool.
Bellinger, this past series was really good. On the year, he has 5 home runs, 23 RBIs, a 274 average, a 367 on base percentage, and an 859 OPS. Plain and simple, that's what you were looking for. That's what you were signing up for when the Yankees signed on the dotted line to get him under this contract. He's playing exceptional defense. In his last 7 games, he has a 357 average, an 821 slug. We know he had that 2 home run game, and he's been where both Judge and Rice have been carrying the team. Now it seems as though Belly is getting back into form and being where he should be. And he is within that like top 4 or 5 in the lineup. Bellinger is that dynamic bat that gives you a different look in comparison to Rice or Judge. That is what Yankee fans have really want to give pitchers a different look, give this lineup a different sense to it. And so, I mean, now getting his open, I think I talked about it last episode that they had nobody above a 750 OPS, but clearly it's so early in the season. But if Cody Bellinger is living at an 850 OPS, give me that all the time.
I mean, Belly's sitting at a 1.7 WAR on the year already, Rob. Pretty freaking good. Pretty freaking good, dude.
Who would you go with, though, for your Savage of the series?
I mean, it's virtually impossible for me to not give it to Judge. I was kind of looking for another angle. Like, you low key could go Will Warren, you could kind of go Trent, you could go Ben Rice,
Jason Dominguez.
You could go Dominguez, but Judge's numbers are just better this series. If we're being honest,
better.
Yeah, I mean, Judge in the series had 6 hits, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs scored, 2 homers, 6 RBIs. 6 walks. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Just had a very good series, Rob. Like I said, 2 homers, 7 ribbies, 2, 4, 6 walks is like pretty good, dude. 6 walks, 6 hits, 2 homers, 7 ribbies. Say that 3 times. Aaron Judge has to be my my guy for the series. Yep. I really would like to go Jason or Trent, but if we're taking this in a legitimate fashion, Judge earned it this series. And it still weirdly feels like Judge hasn't fully clicked, dude. And it's like actually nuts. I think he's on pace for like 67 homers or something like that. 2.3 WAR on the year. He's already accumulated. Pretty ridiculous. Leads the league with 14 homers. He leads the league with 32 runs scored, 272 batting average, 409 on base, 648 slug, with a 1.057 OPS, 189 OPS plus. That's just Aaron Judge, kind of like getting in a rhythm. It's not even fully clicking, people. You're witnessing something stupid. So.
And too, Kay did a really nice job on that home run call yesterday.
Yep.
With a little homage to Sterling and Judge. I think Judge was probably motivated to put one out for John yesterday. So that was a cool moment to do that right in the first inning.
Yeah.
And that was really awesome. So that is it for that series. Now the big elephant in the room, as I mentioned, is Tyler. Anthony Volpe is staying in AAA for now on May 5th while we're here on Cinco de Mayo. And Jose Caballero, Aaron Boone publicly said because of the play from Jose Caballero, the Yankees decided to keep Anthony Volpe in AAA, allow him to gain confidence, allow him to play down there. I'll let you start of what you thought of the move. I know you said numerous times in the last few weeks that the Yankees have been, quote unquote, moving different, and this exemplifies the fact that they've been moving different. Because I think if it was last year and before the really poor play of Anthony Volpe, they would have stuck him right back in there, but better players and the people that are hot, and we know that they have sometimes a trouble believing in hot, but performance dictates who gets playing time, and that's what the Yankees did with this move, and we have to see Jose Caballero continue to do that. Let's see, on the year, I just want to pull up his stats. At the moment, he's hitting 261, 313 on base percentage, a 725 OPS, 4 home runs. He had that home run over the weekend. So I've said it before that it's nothing that the numbers are not all-star level numbers. I think.
Nope.
I mean, if he really takes off, I wouldn't be super shocked, but I would be somewhat surprised. If you play like that, you're going to have a spot. And I think we were talking about.
He does have the 3rd highest WAR out of position players on the Yankees, behind Judge and Ben Rice.
Some of the defensive, I think he was either first or second in defensive runs saved, and that take it for what fourth. Or fourth in it.
Fourth in WAR out of position players on the team. You're right. Okay. Sorry.
But for defensive runs saved, he was about first or second for shortstops. If you're playing like that, Yankee fans, people in baseball, coaches are gonna go, yeah, why you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, what was your reaction to the official news at this moment?
Yeah, man, it's just like the right message to the team. Like if you're a serious organization in any way, you're not going to take out the guy that's playing well for a guy that has historically not played well. It's kind of like almost a jab to the team and to the players. If you're like, hey, what you do on the field doesn't really matter because if we have drafted you this high or we have feelings of you in the front office, then whatever you do is irrelevant because we're going to put our guy back in there. They didn't do that. They made the correct move at the correct time. Last time we were on this pod, Rob, we were both sitting here and we're like, there's no logical reason that you can argue to bring up Anthony Volpe. So they made the right move. I'm proud of them for making the right move. We've kind of said all year. It feels like they're moving a little bit differently. They're decisive with their moves. It doesn't seem like feelings are of the consideration like they kind of used to be. But at this point in time, Rob, like Anthony Volpe's a AAA player until proven otherwise. I kind of think like there's a chance he sticks it down there, man. I'm really not, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like I think there's a world where like Lombard and Cabrera potentially are picked to the show before him. Anthony Volpe in Double-A during his little rehab assignment, 241 batting average, 324 on base, 241 slug, 565 OPS. I mean, it's just not gonna do it, man. That's absolutely horrendous. Mind you, that's Double-A. He never played Triple-A. Again, I'm not trying to shit on Anthony Volpe. It's just kind of how the Yankees treat him. They did him no favors for 3 years. He shouldn't have been up here for that long, and now it's more of a thing that they sent him down. Jason handled being sent down very well. Let's see how Anthony does that. I think that is a huge thing in the org. Like we know how the Yankees kind of, view some theatrics in the media and like, the whole team element of it. Like Anthony needs to handle this well, or he's going to get, 68'd from the organization. It feels like from the big league club. But I don't know, man. I think there's a real chance that like if someone not named Jose Caballero gets hurt and lands on the IL, the right answer is to bring up Oswaldo Cabrera because he's a utility guy that can play in the outfield. He can play first, third, second, short virtually.
Hits from both sides.
So and they love Oswaldo Cabrera. Like we know that. So
it'd be less of a distraction too.
Yeah, less of a distraction. So in my head, that's already one person that leapfrogs Volpe, and then I'm not even trying to be like fanboy or someone on Twitter who's just kind of like, saying nonsense, but like they didn't just promote Lombard Jr. just to do it. If let's say in the middle of August, Caballero, something big happens dealing with an injury and Volpe and Lombard are the two shortstops in AAA, who do you think they're going to call up if Lombard's raking and Volpe's struggling? They're going to call up Lombard Jr. I promise that virtually. So I feel like there's, if Anthony doesn't play well down there, like I don't think he's coming back. And I think barring a big injury, there's no reason for them to just have a backup player that only plays shortstop on the roster. Makes more sense to have an Oswaldo Cabrera, or it makes sense to go with the more young, promising bat that the manager has told us his glove is ready for the league in George Lombard Jr. So if I'm Anthony Volpe, I'm worried, brother.
Pressure's
but
on.
I'm not. I'm just talking about him.
Pressure's on. You made a couple good points. I think one is good is that we're gonna see, and it's only been to start the year a month.
They could call him up in 5 days, though.
Yeah, they could.
That's the concern. Let's see where this next 10 days gets us.
But I think that's a really good point of like looking at the way that Jason Dominguez handled being sent down versus how Anthony Volpe is going to perform.
Yeah, we don't know.
And we don't know. There's more time to see. But I think there's something to be said, and I've made the argument that while there may not have been a place for Jason Dominguez, and that's a big part of it. So I'm gonna preface what I'm gonna say with
He also
that
had
is
some stuff to work on, though. He
he
had to become a better
he
fielder and hit better from the right side.
he did, but you could definitely see, and they didn't have a shortstop to then replace him. But then again, they never. I mean, they just now made the move to get Caballero in here to give him competition. But and I think that's sort of part of it is the way that they treated Volpe was just too. They gave him too much
He
preference.
gave
They
him
gave
the
him
keys to the kingdom,
yeah,
man,
they gave him the keys to the kingdom, and I was listening to
for
I believe it
three
was I was
years.
listening to Joel Sherman's podcast the other day, or maybe one of his articles, and he was saying like they're not treating this like a player on scholarship. They're saying F that
Hmm.
now, and it's long overdue, but okay, here we are now, and especially when the here's also a thing.
It only did him a disservice, to be honest, with giving him the amount of run they gave him.
Yeah. But here's another good point when it comes to the Volpe stuff is that yes, it's only May 5th. We're in early May. This Yankees team is the top team in the American League. They don't want to mess around. May teams get better over the course of the summer, and we see more relevant title contenders. Of course, there's going to be baseball. Teams are going to get hot. Teams are going to make moves. Players are going to come up. We're going to see that. But the Yankees doing this with Volpe sort of signifies that, quite frankly, they're not effing around.
They
And
don't care, yeah.
that's how they have to treat it is if you have a better player in Jose Caballero at the moment, and you got to play him. You got to play who's hot, and that's
Best
something
thing
that
for the team.
it's the best thing for the team. And I was in a way proud of them to do it. It's long overdue, so I'm not going to give them a ton of credit on it, but you gotta give the devil his due when they do that. So,
Hmm.
um,
I
that's
mean,
how
we've been asking for the Yankees to handle stuff like this forever.
forever. So
Like, just be more decisive. Stop caring about the name. Who's the better player?
stop caring
What's better
about
for the team?
stop caring about the fact that you drafted him as high as you did. Okay, you put him in too early. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you
Do
passed
the
up
right
upon all these all-star shortstops for him.
do the right thing now, and
Mhm.
that's how I feel as though they're treating it, and I'll give them credit where credit's due. So, and you made a point. Could they call him up in a week or so? Yeah, they can. But I'm praying that Jose Caballero keeps his foot on the gas and plays. And I'm
Yep.
happy that after the first 2 weeks where he looked disappointing, that he is now giving like real competition. He is real competition. And there's some
Yep.
I mean there are some Volpe defenders in our mentions that are saying, well, Caballero's not that good. Well, what do you think Anthony Volpe was coming from? He
Yeah.
was not. He was bad. He was very, very bad. When you're a 660 OPS player, you are meant to be in the minor leagues.
Dude, Caballero has arguably done more this year in 34 games than Volpe did in the entirety of 158 games last year. Well, like just from accumulated WAR speaking,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
like literally,
I don't
you know,
disagree with you. I think I not only okay.
a more productive player. The results are more apparent
If
consistently.
if Jose Cabe, and I think I texted this to you this morning after you messaged me, is if he is a guy that's over like a 700 OPS and he is stealing you 45, 50, 55, 60 stolen bases a year, playing a solid glove at shortstop this year,
Mhm.
which is what he's been. We've seen him
No
have
mental lapses.
we've seen him have some issues. Don't get me wrong, and I don't think he's like Cal Ripken at the position, but he's holding his own. He's doing a good job. The numbers are
Remember,
proving
Volpe
it to this.
literally couldn't field last year
Anthony
for 2
Volpe
months.
was so. We have to remember what we're coming from here, and so if that's the value he is giving you, and we don't need an all-star at every position, that is a damn valuable player. Especially when you're saying he has the fourth highest accumulated WAR to this point on this team. Like
Mhm.
you put that guy and you don't move him off that position. So.
And he's clearly well liked. Like he's clearly
Oh, he brings a good energy, man.
yeah. And like respect to Cabby, man. Like, has kind of only been on this team as like, start off as a utility guy. Volpe gets hurt, and then the whole time, like, general manager comes out and is like, "Yeah, Volpe, that's the plan for Volpe to become the starting shortstop again." And Cabby just came out and was like, "I bet. Like, let's see what I can make y'all do." So shout out Cabby, man. And also to kind of put a bow on this on my end for Volpe is like, there's no benefit to him being on this team. There's no benefit to him to be anywhere where he's not playing every day.
Yeah.
And there's no value, no logical reason that you can make to have Anthony Volpe play on a daily basis on this team. So he needs to sit in AAA and get comfortable and work on his productivity, because he's not a major league player at this moment in time.
No. Yep. Totally agree, man.
And there's a very promising young shortstop on his heels. And then
They'll
there's
be playing
Waldo
together.
in the way. Yep.
I think that's
which
fun.
I'll be interested to see the defensive alignments. Where's Lombard going to be, man? He's not. I mean, they're not pulling him off his position. So Lombard's been doing a lot of third and short, if I remember correctly. I mean, Volpe, feels obvious to go to second.
Not if Jazz Chisholm is sticking around.
Yeah, they're not going to pay him. I feel like we've, figured that out.
Yeah, but you never know if Jazz settles for something less. I don't know.
He could. 2-year, 58.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I agree. That is something interesting. Well, I have to tune into some Rail Riders games to see what they do.
Just the lineup, who's batting where.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is Lombard looking like? So he's got 5 games in AA. It hasn't been pretty thus far. Okay. Next. Never mind.
Yeah, but we'll see. If he gets called up, he gets called up. But at this moment in time, the Yankees have made a correct decision. I think I'm not as gung-ho on that he won't be called up, because I do have a sneaking hunch that at the first sign of like an injury or something, I do think.
Well, he's a direct replacement for a Caballero injury.
Yeah. So.
But anyone else, I don't think so.
We're going to see. All right. We will wrap it up. Tonight, the Yankees play at the stadium with Elmer Rodriguez back on the mound for a follow-up to his debut. Jacob deGrom is on the mound for the Rangers. On Wednesday, it'll be Will Warren versus Nathan Eovaldi, Weathers versus Gore on Thursday, and then after that, they head for a road trip to Milwaukee and then go back to Baltimore, and then their next off day is until Friday, May 14th, before then the Subway Series in Citi Field, which should be fun.
Let's go.
It should be fun.
Let's go.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 242. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a rate and review, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as Threads and X and everything like that. So that's it for 242. We'll see you at 243.